The truth is that we know exactly where we want to be. Like, we know exactly what we deserve. We know exactly what should be coming out of the things that we're doing. We know exactly where our life should be going. But for most people, they know deeply but don't act fully. Like, we have this inclination in our heart, we have this desire, this wish, this thing that we know we can be. We have all talent and capability of it, but we lose the plot so often because it is hard for us to become uncomfortable. It's hard for us to extend ourselves past the place that we've become used to. And the crazy thing is that comfort of being uncomfortable is actually you growing into something because it's a place you've never been in. So of course you're going to be uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable. You can't change in comfort because you know comfort. You know everything about it. You know what it feels like. You know what it's like. You know all the ins and outs because it's your comfort. But in that place, you will never be fully who you can be. And if you don't build resilience as you grow through this thing, you'll remain stuck in it. For a lot of us, resilience is a struggle. Like, growing through things that we have become comfortable with, knowing that it's difficult to become this next person, even though you know that you deserve it, even though you know you're good for it, even though you know you have every talent and bit of ability to do it. Becoming that person is hard because you have to now learn to be uncomfortable in certain situations. And becoming uncomfortable just means adapting into what's new. Grow. It's like riding a bike, right? When you first learn how to ride a bike, the most difficult portion of it was staying on the bike, staying up, and then pedaling and moving and changing. But when you learn, it's impossible to unlearn. You're never going to not know how to ride a bike because it's something that you become so uncomfortable in, then became very good at, that now it's muscle memory. And this is kind of what we're looking at in this episode, right? This resilience, this ability and capability of just adapting, of becoming uncomfortable enough that we can change. Something I personally have been learning is how to keep up with my motivation, because motivation isn't a thing, right? Motivation is fleeting. There are moments where I feel like I could conquer the world, that I could do everything possible, and then that just fleets when I don't move, when I don't act. And one big tool that I've actually learned, and today was a perfect day for that. I really applied this through and through. I woke up this morning and I scripted and I wrote and I edited some other stuff, and then I worked out, and then I was like, you know what? I really feel like I need to go clean the studio and prepare and change things and make it different. Prepare it for something new, something that's going to receive. There are sometimes that you have to prepare in anticipation, right? You have to make space for the thing you want, even if you're not in the horizon of seeing that thing, because if you don't have the space for it to settle, for it to enter, it won't stay. So this morning I was like, I need to go prepare. So I came and I cleaned up and I did everything. And the trick to this was simple. Was the moment I thought about it, I did it. Like, I didn't say, okay, well, later on, or I didn't time it. I didn't say, well, okay, I'm going to schedule this on this day and change things. 'Cause I should be doing those things because that's how busy I am. My schedule is really crazy, so I should be scheduling. But the most powerful thing you will ever do is find the issue and address it in the moment right away. Because when that motivation hits, it's not always going to hit, but when you feel it, if you do the thing that you're considering, if you do the thing you're thinking about, it changes everything. It allows you to actually do the thing that you want to do. It allows you to do the thing you're capable of doing. With when we're lethargic, when we're lazy, it's easy to fall into that because it's like a pit of sand, quicksand. It's gonna drag you in, and the only way that you can survive quicksand is by doing nothing. So what this does is that it pulls us away from that common pattern that we're used to. If I react in the moment consistently, then this becomes a habit. And I will consistently react to the motivation and not to just this planning or scripting or of anything later. So if there's something right now that you're thinking of, or something you wanted to start, if it's like a podcast you wanted to record, if there's a person that you wanted to reach out to, if there's something you wanted to do, the moment you feel it, just do it. Just start it, get it out the way. Because it becomes a snowball effect. Everything else becomes that much easier because you're just moving in the moment. You're not just waiting. You're not stopping. Again, Newton's law of motion. I didn't realize how necessary this thing was going to be when I learned it in college. An object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. Right? Something, if it's moving, it will consistently move. But if you don't move, it's hard to make it move. Motivation is not a consistent thing. We're not always going to feel motivated. This is where we'll talk about later where discipline kicks in. But if you do something in that moment, there's just something powerful that happens internally that our brain is like, wait, we did that. We made that happen. That actual thing came to be, the thing that I knew I was capable. Wow, we did it. So next time, there's just a little bit more of a push of motivation. And every time you push more and more and more, the easier it becomes. Name what you want and focus on it. If you know that this month you want to do something specific, you have a specific goal, and you name it, and you act in the moment, and you move, it's something that's inevitable to happen. You are going to guarantee that this thing comes to be because you were able to move in that moment, because you trusted enough in you. So your brain is now like, wait, we were doing something. We're good. There's a research from the Dominican University of California, and I didn't pick this school just because I'm Dominican. It's actually just what the data shows us. And it shows that people who clearly define goals are 33% more likely to achieve them. That's a big jump. That's a huge jump. It's almost a third of people who name those things are guaranteeing that there's going to happen. So what is it this month that you need to do? What is it this week that you need to do? What is that goal, that thing that you want to achieve so badly, but you haven't been able to, that you need to make happen? And your first step is going to be just simply to name it. It's easy. You can name it right now. What is the thing that you really feel like you are capable of doing that you want to do? The thing that is a goal, that is a dream even, but you're capable of that. Name that thing. And then the simplest thing you could ever do is attack it. Do the little thing. Get the little guards out of the big mansion, right? Get the little steps first. Get the little ones first, and then move into the big things. When you're able to do the little things, the little actions, the first step, it becomes easier to move into the next thing. A lot of people don't move because they're afraid of everything else. But unnamed fear becomes bigger than we realize. Like, unnamed fear is actually a lie. It's just a small thing that we're telling ourselves we're not capable of when we completely are. I realized a long time ago that comfort was a trap. Like, it's so easy to fall into comfort. It's so easy to fall into the thing that we're accustomed to. It's so much easier to fall into doing nothing than it is to doing something. Think about it. If you don't have to move, if you don't have to act, you just simply are. You're just a rock. But I learned also that the things that don't grow are dead. Like the things that aren't being innovative of themselves, the things that aren't flourishing, that aren't moving, that aren't becoming something new, plants that are not watered are dead, things that are not being fed, things that are not changing, things that are not becoming uncomfortable are dead. And for a lot of people, we're walking around like zombies. Yeah, we're quote unquote alive, we're moving, right? That should be enough. But nothing else is improving, nothing else is changing, nothing else is growing. We're miserable and dead inside. The things that aren't actually flourishing, things that aren't actually growing, are dead. And I want you in this moment to realize that if you, first of all, you don't have to hit a home run every single time. Like, not everything has to be perfect. You don't have to, be the most successful in absolutely everything in every single moment, because that's not a realistic thing. It's a burnout thing. You're never going to be perfect in absolutely every single thing. But I do want you to realize that if months have gone by and years have gone by and you have just done the same thing over and over again and you're frustrated with it, it's not because you're not capable. It's because you've become comfortable with your deadness. You've become comfortable with just walking around because that signifies life, and it doesn't. Too many of us have become comfortable becoming these zombies of us, these shell versions of what we could potentially be. And it's the worst feeling to look back on life and say, man, I could have. I knew I had the capability. I knew I had the talent. I knew how to do that thing, but I refused to do that thing because I allowed my comfort or my fear or my doubt, even worse, people, to stop me from that. To stop you from actually growing, not just walking and moving, but flourishing and being the best version of you in that. Again, the best version of you is not the most perfect version of you. It's just the version of you that believes enough in themselves to move, to act, to grow, to feed themselves, to say that this is not enough. And every human person has that gifting. You have been given that by your Creator, that you have been allowed and endowed to grow and to become this version of you that you find joy in. And notice how I'm very clear about that word, this version of you, not the version of you that somebody else has claimed, not the version of you that they have identified or labeled something, not the version of you that has played in the minds or the hearts of anyone else, the version of you that you are, that you're capable of seeing. And it breaks my heart time and time again with conversations that I have with people that are just so miserable with themselves because they have allowed people, like, I hate to say it, but family wounds. They have allowed their family members to dictate things. And again, low hanging fruit, romantic relationships. Those are always easy. Those are always common. We'll ignore those for this one. But the you that brings you joy will always be outside of the comfort that you found in other people. It's you being uncomfortable in your own situations, uncomfortable with them, whatever. I can't stress this enough. The people that love you, like authentically love you, fully love you, will support you. They're not going to support the version of you that they have. They support the version of you that you are. And we can't allow the exterior influence to ruin the interior emotions. We can't allow what people are saying around us to ruin what we say inside of us. It's heartbreaking because everyone has so much to offer. Like everyone has something unique and something special and something great that they bring to the table. But because of this, we refuse to be uncomfortable. We refuse to be resilient in the storms. Which is going to happen is at the moment that you decide that you want to be the best version of you, you're going to lose people. There are people that have profited from your loss. They have made something good of them by seeing you miserable. And even if it's like just an emotional thing, even if your least joyful you kind of just takes off the attention from their pain that they're suffering through, it brings them joy. And the worst thing that you will ever do is allow yourself to be that, to just be this magnet of nothingness because you refuse to be uncomfortable, because you refuse to be resilient in the storms that they have to go away from you, the people that are going to have to leave you because they don't fit where you're supposed to be. That's where resilience kicks in. Being resilient is saying that I refuse to remain in a trap just because it looks familiar. It hurts so much to know that what we're capable of, we're not living up to. And I think that was for me personally for some time. That's always been a huge fear. Like one of my hugest fears in this life is unfulfilled potential. Is knowing that I didn't live up to the capability or capacity of the things that I was offered or things that I could do because I became comfortable. Because I became comfortable in having people that shouldn't be in my life, staying in relationships I shouldn't have stayed in, staying in things, in jobs and careers that were killing me, staying in places that I knew were not servicing the person that I was gonna be, but servicing the comfort that I'm in. We have to be resilient enough to know that it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt to change. It's going to hurt to move. It's going to hurt to quit the job that you have. It's going to hurt to leave the relationship that's bad. It's going to hurt to turn your back on family members that do not love and support you. It's going to hurt to do something different. But when you are resilient, you allow yourself to be outside of the comfort zone. You learn to build new comfort. And then once you've learned that, right, like we said at the very beginning, once you learn that stage, everything else becomes easier because you know what it feels like to go through those things. So these next couple of stages, it just becomes even easier to grow into. You will go as far as what you're willing to be uncomfortable in. Uncomfortable just means that you're stepping into this next stage that you've never been in, that you're going to be something better in there. I realized a long time ago that not one of me going and showing up is going to be authentically me. Like me showing up, not one stage of me showing up for things, for other people, how I used to be, is ever going to be authentically who I am. And it hurts because when we show up for these people in these manners, in these ways, there's this way that we think that they need us. They won't show up for us in the ways that we need them. Like when we realize that we keep showing up for people and they're not showing up for us, it's not that you're a bad person and you don't deserve that. It's just that you're pouring into people that aren't going to pour back into you. So as you grow and you become uncomfortable, these people that you were used to servicing in certain ways, that they're going to, again, have to leave. But the question isn't, aren't they going to leave? The question is, are you going to be resilient enough to not chase them? It is not your job to save anyone else. It is your job to save you. There's only one Savior. His name is Jesus Christ. After that, our roles are not to save other people. And yes, we can help them and we can bring them along and try to help them the best way we can and give from our surplus, not all, our surplus to those people. And be able to produce places for them to feel safe and to grow. And those are all beautiful and good things. But make sure that it's not coming at the cost of you remaining in a place that you're supposed to grow from. I can't tell you the amount of times where I felt myself doing things for people who I know are not in the same mindset as I am, that I know that would not do anything for me, that I would go above and beyond for, and they wouldn't get off the couch for me. And I think that the greatest lesson I've ever learned is to stop doing the most for people that would do none for me. And it's not that it has to be a tick for tack that I do for you so you could do for me, but it's I'm consistently doing for you and you're never doing for me. That's not love, that's use. We have not created a relationship that was mutual. We created one that you benefited from me. So what happens is that when you start standing up for yourself, those people who benefited from the use that they had from you will say that you changed. They'll talk about you. They'll criticize you. They'll say you're different. But the reality is, it's not that you're different. It's that they can't abuse their relationship with you anymore. And they can't use you the way they were used to. So now that you've walked away or become firm in who you are and are pouring into yourself, they hate it because they were so used to leeching off of you that the moment you burn the leech off, the sustenance that they had is gone. Of course they're going to criticize you. Of course they're going to judge you. You're not giving them what they want. And a person that loves you, a relationship that's mutual, friendship that's mutual, family member that's mutual, are always going to pour into where you are going to be, not where they benefit from. They're going to support and love what you're going to become, not the person that they could rob from. It's okay to grow. It's okay to be comfortable in that growth. You shouldn't have to revert to things just to keep people around. The sad truth is that for most of us, no one ever thinks about us first. And it's not that people are selfish or they don't care about you, but it's that for most people, they're more concerned about their well-being than anyone else is. Or they're conscious or unconscious. And again, there's differences between like family and friends and stuff like that where they're caring about you still, but they also need, and you need to understand this. We all need to understand this, that people need to care for themselves too. We need to care for ourselves too. And when they're being conscious of themselves, I've learned this from a friend of mine actually, who his whole thing is that he's going to make sure that everything else is leveled in his life before he offers any help or does anything else. Now, again, I don't mean like emergencies or things like where you desperately need somebody and then you need them to show up and they don't show up. That's just terrible. I mean like the little things, like the time they're spending with you, the exposure to them and to your family, to their families, and those kind of things. The things that are, I don't want to call them surface level, but common. And if we don't have everything else around us sound, not perfect, but sound, like good, that we can know, that we could trust on, we can't stand on or lean on any of that. So people will need that. They will need the space to heal and to be themselves. You need that space. But make sure that the relationships that you're in as you become uncomfortable are relationships that you can depend on to go to when it's necessary. When you need them to show up, that they're going to show up. That's not just a matter of when they need you, but it's a matter of when you can help or serve each other. Another lesson that I've learned is that we don't rise to motivation, we rise to systems. Like as much as moving in the moment is important, I think that's huge. I think that's one of the greatest things that you ever do to build momentum and to build motivation. You need to develop a system. You need to develop ways that you're going to do things. Because motivation, again, at the end of the day, it's still emotional. And again, it's not bad. React to the emotion. Do it. Get things done. Get the jump on it. But then, develop a system. Systems are mechanical. And if there's anything we've ever learned about things that are mechanical, is that they are a safeguard. Like they will instantly turn on. They will activate when you don't know what to do. So if you're able to respond instantly, you're able to respond out of muscle memory for something, it creates a system in you where you are just going to just naturally respond. I hate to talk about Dragon Ball Z because I'm sure none of my listeners actually, well, maybe some of you do. It was a good time. For a millennial man specifically, not to get too off track, but that was like the highlight of our youth. It was like Dragon Ball Z, specifically that anime. And there's something in Dragon Ball Z called Ultra Instinct. And I can't believe I'm quoting Goku. or Dragon Ball Z in general. And but as Goku, who is like the main character in this whole show, as he develops his style, as he develops the strongest form that they've ever had, it was a what's called again ultra instinct, where he uh, would just respond, where it wouldn't be something that he had to overthink or over push, or it's just his body was naturally responding to things, and it made him so powerful that he ended up like winning this like battle in the universe and whatever. We're not get too into Dragon Ball Z, but there is something deep there where if you understand that when we build systems, when we build things that are naturally ingrained into our body, when we rewire our brain, when that neuroplasticity happens, your body knows what to do. It knows how to respond. That's why I said in the very beginning of this, motivation is important in the sense of doing it in the instant you're doing it, and then it snowballs. It builds this higher effect because what's happening is that you've told your body, you told your brain that it's okay to react. It's okay to do the right thing because we've built it, we've learned it. And that same breath, you can learn the negative thing. I was reading a study specifically on laziness because, again, we're talking about resilience and getting out of our comfort zone. And the study was saying that the reason that most people become lazy or stay in the same place, or we use easier language for that, is because they have conditioned their brain to understand that this is okay. Like there's no system in place for them to safeguard themselves from falling into this lethargical person, to falling into this rut and staying in this thing. There's nothing that was changed or ingrained or developed in them for them to say, wait, this is not good. Stand up, move, walk. We have lost the sense of urgency in so many things that it just robs us by our physical, or the things we do. Resilience is built when action becomes non-negotiable. You can't negotiate with yourself. And this is something that, again, I'm still working on and I'm learning. And studies show this conclusively, though. And I think it's important to mention that when you break your own promises to you, you teach yourself not to trust yourself. Listen to that. That hurts to hear because you have made yourself. Let's say the promise was that I was going to come and clean the studio today. I kept this promise to myself, and I did it. I showed up and I created what I needed to create, and I cleaned and I mopped. And well, I haven't mopped yet, but I passed the broom and all those things. I'm going to mop after, right before I leave, and all these things. I kept this promise, so my brain is saying, "Look, we did something. We were productive. This feels good." Because there's a reward system in your body that rewards you whenever you keep the things you keep. But here's the thing, that rewards you whether good or bad. So if you do nothing and you just sit there, your body's now learning how to sit there. But your brain is also learning how to not trust you. Because you made a promise, you made a plan, and you didn't keep it. And I've been echoing this in different episodes with different topics, different things. But I think in resilience and getting out of your comfort zone, this mountain of being uncomfortable, keeping your promises, no matter how small they are to yourself, is going to change everything. That's going to be the game changer. Just doing the thing that you are exhausted and tired and you have 1,001 excuses not to do, but then choosing to do it either way. You're impressing yourself. Your brain is going to be like, "Oh, look at us. I'm so proud of us because we said we were going to do this and we did it." Your brain's wired to avoid discomfort. It's not a flaw. It's the test, really. It's what it goes against. Neuroscience shows us that the brain treats uncertainty like a threat. When you don't know, your brain doesn't know either. So what it does is that creates this almost fight or flight response to any situation, and everything is a threat. And I've mentioned this before, the courage of the cowardly dog thing. I don't think that's like an actual thing, but I'm gonna coin that somehow. The courage of the cowardly dog theory, where courage again sees everything and he's creating monsters out of the clothes on the chair or the mailman because he's a dog and that's how a dog's brain works. But we do that too. I think we create the worst version of things or the nightmare of things out of things that we're uncomfortable doing until we do it and realize that it was just unfolded laundry. Like that, all you had to do was fold it. That was the whole point, but you didn't. So what your brain did, it created a problem that seemed bigger than what it actually was. It created a threat. This is why so many of us are not changing. When you avoid discomfort, it doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that you're human and you've become so adjusted and so accustomed to how your brain reacts that nothing else changes. Have you ever noticed like people like adrenaline junkies? Like, okay, granted, we're not gonna go too far with that because they literally are what that sounds like, adrenaline junkies. They're addicted to the adrenaline. They're addicted to that movement and that kind of thing. But the reason that they are, it's because it becomes harder for them to receive the same amount without them doing something significantly crazy or as crazy. And that, to an extreme, is an example of this. It's that once you realize how capable you actually are, everything else becomes so much easier because you're fully capable of doing the thing. You have the power and the authority to make that thing happen. So once you learn that your comfort zone is a lie, everything else becomes that much easier. It becomes easier to walk through because it isn't real. At the end of the day, resilience is choosing long-term safety over short-term relief. It's choosing the thing that's going to feed the best version of me the most over the thing that in this moment and in this instance feels okay. You're human, right? These are things that you're going to revert to and they're going to feel easy sometimes, but choosing the thing that's going to serve you in the long run is always going to be the most powerful. So just want to make that invitation to you as we come to a close in this episode. That choosing to move and to change and to react is going to be the most powerful thing you do. Choosing to not be comfortable. Choosing to not stay in the thing that you feel is just home. That thing, it's going to change everything for you. So, what is the thing that you're afraid to be uncomfortable in? What's the thing that's had so much power and authority over you? What's the thing that you are still reverting to when you know that you shouldn't be in? At the end of our lives, at the end of the day, the only thing that we'll ever be able to be joyful for are the things that we've conquered. Like family, of course, and our marriages and all these things, but personally, internally, the one thing that we'll ever say, man, I'm so glad I took that step, whether it was successful or not, are the things that we faced and won, are the mountains that we came up to and we didn't let them win because they were scary. And just one last thing here, studies on exposure therapy show that anxiety drops after repeated exposure, even when the situation doesn't change. What does that mean? Like I said at the very beginning, I think that's like a perfect way to close this. Doing the thing that you're scared of. Doing the thing that gives you anxiety. Doing the thing that makes you uncomfortable. Doing the thing today or this month or this week or whatever it is that just seems like it's hard to do because you haven't done before. But just starting creates something so powerful in you that it actually takes you to that next step on that mountain. It elevates you just a little bit more. It takes you just a little bit further. And once you're outside of that comfort zone, once you're into that uncomfortable area, you start realizing that everything around you is becoming more comfortable because you've expanded. You've become bigger, you've become more, you've become greater in that thing that was meant to be greater over you. So as we dive into this week and as a challenge is set out to you, do the thing that you have been uncomfortable with. And the moment you feel the motivation, just act. So thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for being on this podcast. And I always forgot, like and share. Please download. That's the biggest metric. If you already downloaded, tell your friends. But hey, do me a favor, download all these episodes just to help here so we can continue doing what we're doing. But thank you so much for your presence, for your time. And I can't express how much it means to me every episode. I'm so grateful for this. And some actually really cool things are going to be coming up the next couple of weeks. I can't announce them yet, but working on it. And we'll see. So we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.